Hey friends, today we are going to read I Need My Monster. I love this book because this little boy likes the monster under his bed. He's not even scared of it, just a tiny bit, and he knows that he needs him. Then we're going to do something else. So let's read it. I Need My Monster by Amanda Knoll. Let's see who his monster is. Tonight, when I looked under my bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing, back in a week. Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breath and his nose whistling and the scratching of his claws. How would I ever go to sleep without Gabe's familiar scary noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week. And I just had to have my monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboard. Then I scrambled back to my bed. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would it be like? Would his snorting be as cheerful as Gabe's? When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived. Good evening, a low, breathy voice said. My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening. Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound scary at all. Have you ever even scared a kid before? Well, no. But I have read all of the best books on the topic. Do you have long teeth and scary claws, I asked. No, I have an overbite, and I'm a mouth breather. Listen. Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws. Picky, Herbert complained. As you wish, I'll go. And there was some more creaking, and Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that the second monster had appeared. Good evening. My name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. Would you please lean over and I will hold them out for your inspection? I crouched on the edge of my bed, hoping to see a horrible shaggy arm with sharp, rugged nails. Instead, I was surprised to see sleekly brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but is that polish on your claws? Yes, it is. I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed. I could tell this was not going to work either. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching, and I knew Ralph was gone. Do you think another monster's going to come? Oh, look at those scary claws. A minute later, a third voice from under the bed rasped. Check out these claws, kid. I gathered my courage and peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged and dark and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little nervous. Could you stick your tail out? I whispered. Sure, but don't get scared. I peeped through my fingers at the slimy tail slithering over the foot of my bed. And then I noticed it had a bow. Are you a girl monster? Of course I am, she snapped. I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do, I admit it. I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys, and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that. Well, aren't you a picky one, she sniffed, and then she was gone. Oh, look at that picture. That looks really scary. I wonder what's going to happen. Was I being picky? No, I knew that my monster needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep you in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if you got out. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbering. A fourth monster was under my bed. Hey, The name's Mac. One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. I shivered. Maybe this one would work out. Those are excellent claws. Do you have a long tail? I leaned over. No, my tail's stumpy, he slurped. But I do have an unusually long tongue. Why would I be afraid of a long tongue? I asked. Oh, I don't know, he said, trying to sound terrifying. You never know what might lick you. Look, does he look scary? No. I fell back in the bed laughing. This boy is not scared of him. Well, if you're not even going to try to work with me, Mac whined, I held in my giggles. I really don't think you should send me away, he warned. Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night. I did not reject 5 monsters tonight, I interrupted. My regular monster went fishing. Fishing, eh? Maybe he just left because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here, but I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you. How was I ever going to sleep without my monster? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to get a new monster? Let's see. Maybe Gabe will come back. I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to come tonight. Sorry I'm late, kid. Whew. It was Gabe. I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't. Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are challenging, my friend. You're almost too old to be afraid of monsters. You keep me on my toes. Ah, toes, toes, a delicious snack. The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening off with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of the bed, and green ooze seeped soundlessly out from underneath. Is he going to be scared now because Gabe is back? I think he is. I bet he'll stay in bed. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his spiky tail, daring me where he might pop it. I shivered. So, you had some substitute monsters tonight, Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedclothes. Were you scared? Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I needed him. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled, diving under the covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snores. Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other, he growled. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat. Now, if you could pick, please stick your foot out, he said, and I'll nibble on your pinky. I yanked my blanket back up, scrunched in my feet so Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, pushing the pillow off my bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. I'd be asleep in no time. So, in that story, the little boy needed his monster to help him sleep. I want you to think, is this story fiction, which means it's made up, or nonfiction, which means it's true? Yeah, it's fiction. There aren't really monsters that live under our beds. So this story was made up, and it's just a silly story about monsters. So now we're going to learn how to draw our own monster.